All right, peace to the family, peace to the tribe. This is your brother, BroYosef. I'm back with another video. And in this video here, we're going to talk about tree magic, right? And I'm going to give you guys a basic understanding of how to do some magic with trees. And I'm going to give you guys some more information on what trees are, how they operate on this world, this is the book I put up last night, Celtic Tree Magic. That's the author. I want you guys to get that book so you can get a better basic understanding about trees and how to work with them. There's also a science in here called Agam, and Agam is a Celtic tree alphabet, right? And the science of Agam was actually taught by the elemental spirits to the Celtics. And at one point in history, some of the actual elementals was mixing in with the humans. And these became some of what people call the druids. And these elemental spirits taught this alphabet, right? Of this tree alphabet called Agam. And that will be more of a 102 class. But if you guys want to read on that, you can read this book called Celtic Tree Magic. And this Agam can be used as a divination system. It can also be used to work with tree magic heavier by dealing with the actual letters that are presented for each tree, right? But that's in the 102 class. Some of y'all never even heard of tree magic, don't even know about tree magic, so we're gonna give y'all a basic class. Y'all know how BroYosef do. I give y'all the basic overall understanding of things before we go any deeper, into the science, right? Before we go any deeper. So I hope that everyone has been doing well dealing with this dealing with this quarantine that everyone has been on. This has been teaching us a lot to deal with our family, giving us a lot more opportunity to work to work on your dreams, to work on your goals. If you've been sitting at home watching YouTube and Instagram all day, shame on you. Shame on you, because this is the time where you should be working on your dreams and your goals and working on that thing you've been talking about. All these years you've been talking about you're going to do this one thing, and this is the time to get the information. Even if you can't move on it right now, research and get the information on it so you can be ready to go when this thing lifts. This is the time for it, family. Millionaires are made in times like this, all right? So before we start the video, let's give our attitude of gratitude. And I do have shirts coming out sometime later on this week that's going to say my attitude is gratitude. Those shirts will be dropping this week. So let's give our gratitude for the day, family. All right. So today is Tuesday. I give thanks to all the gods of war. I give thanks to the energies of Tuesday. I give thanks to the planet Mars. I give thanks to the goddess Sekhmet. I give thanks to the god Indra. I give thanks to the god Ogun. I give thanks to the Egyptian god Anhar. I give thanks to the ascended masters. I give thanks to all my ancestors before me, known and unknown. I give thanks to the 5 elements, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. And I give thanks to my animal spirit. And I give thanks to Mother Earth for always providing. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay, family, let's get into this tree magic, which is important to know if you're going to be a magician. Because there's some things that can help you dealing with tree magic that is very important for you guys to know and understand. All right. So the first thing to understand about tree magic is you guys need to really understand that trees have been used in the science of magic for millions of years, right? We're even going to say millions of years, right? As long as trees has been here, people have figured out the science of working with trees. It is very important that you guys figure out the same by working with trees, working with the bark, working with the wood. They carry a life force frequency. Like a tree, you can cut a tree down and take the bark or wood of a tree, and this thing is still alive. The wood of the tree is still alive. It carries a certain living frequency in it. So it's a very powerful energy, right? And one of the most powerful examples we see of working with tree magic on a higher cosmic level would be the tree of life, right? And in the tree of life, you have the tree of life, which gives life, gives light also. Then you have the tree of knowledge and good and evil. Some people even call it the tree of death. And we know that death doesn't really exist. Death is a transforming of something. Death transforms, right? So the tree of death is there to take life away or to transmute life, right? Because if you notice in the Bible, Adam and Eve didn't die like God said they were going to die, but their mind was changed. Their mind was different. They were more open to certain aspects of energy and dealing with the roots of trees, which the tree of knowledge and good and evil represents. The dark side of the tree, which is the root of the tree, which is the biggest part of the tree, which is the most powerful part of the tree. That part of the tree can transform. It's very powerful. Okay, it's very, very powerful. And if you deal with it the right way, you can work with primordial energy, working with the tree of knowledge and good and evil. But that's not for beginners, right? So also, if you look in history, the Buddha himself was transformed or enlightened when he sat under a tree, right? When he sat under a tree. So that's a few examples to let you guys understand that the tree is so important that when they mapped out consciousness, which is what the tree of life is based on, a map of consciousness, they used a tree. They call it the tree of life, right? So some ancient cultures even say the universe is a tree, right? Some ancient cultures will say that. So trees are very powerful, right? Another thing about trees that people need to understand is that trees are door openers. They're they can open and close energy portals, right? They're road openers, right? They can unlock energy in the earth, also in the air, depending on how the trees are positioned. But trees can unlock powerful earth energy. They can unlock energy inside of yourself just by standing next to a tree. You can get unlocked. You can have blockages removed. You can have new energy centers opened up in your body just by dealing with the right tree, right? So trees are powerful in that aspect. Some trees like humans, and some trees don't like humans, right? The trees that don't like humans are the trees that are poisonous, right? They kind of cut themselves off to humanity to the point if you even touch them, you can get poisoned, like poison ivy or something like that, right? Some plants and trees are poisonous. Even some trees that you got to watch how you touch them, because you get cut by certain trees that can be poisonous to you, right? Some trees around the world. So that's very important for people to understand. Trees are also hold energy. They can bottle energy for you. So there are some spirits that are actually trapped in trees right now. People don't understand the science, but you can actually trap spirits in trees. Demons are trapped in trees, right? A lot of energy spirits on the other side, for those who have eyes to see, they can see spirits and ghosts and stuff. You will see a lot of spirits standing next to trees because they have energy. They're getting energy from the tree. So you can see them standing next to a tree, right? Whenever I go to the graveyard and I look around, and if there's a tree in a graveyard, I'll see people standing next to the tree. It's so interesting. Very powerful, right? Very powerful. So trees can hold energy. Trees can also open energy, right? Very important to understand when you're dealing with your spell work and your rituals. We're going to get into that, right? So if you're working a spell, right? If you're working a spell, you can actually, if you put that spell under the right type of tree, depending on what type of spell you're trying to do. If you put any tree just won't work. You got to know what tree to do it under, right? If you put that spell under the right type of tree and you bury it next to a tree, the tree will actually work the spell for you. That's right. That's a quick way to cheat on your spell work. You can actually have a tree work your spell for you. BroYosef has many things buried around trees, and the tree is working it for me to this day, dealing with protection, money, you know what I'm saying? All kind of things, right? So you guys can actually, there's people that make money trees too. I'm not even going to tell you how to do that in this video. It's so easy to do. You can go to YouTube and type in money tree. There's people teach you how to make trees and money trees, right? Where you can literally take bags of change, right, and bury it and pot it under a tree and let the roots and stuff grow around the money, like a little pot in your house, and have a money tree in your house, right? I'm not going to get deep into that, but you can do that. So trees can work spells for you. They're that powerful. They can work a spell out for you. That's very important that you guys understand that, So in case you don't have a lot of time to work on a ritual and you're really trying to do something, you don't have time to keep doing a spell over and over and over, Well, the trees themselves will actually work spells for you over and over and over. All right. So that's something that's very important that you guys need to understand. All right. Now, trees are also nature's antennas, right? They're like antennas for nature all over the world. So Mother Nature, it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, she can pick up the energy in the area by way of the tree. Trees, they watch, they observe, they absorb knowledge and information, right? Trees are very wise. That's why they say when you need to figure out something, go sit under a tree. If you need to think of a really deep idea, a really deep invention or something, go sit under a tree. That's why they have that whole Thomas Edison, sitting under a tree. Is it Thomas Edison? Isaac Newton in the tree, sitting under the tree. That's where that whole thing comes from. So sitting under a tree can create great ideas. Trees can give you information just by sitting next to them. I'm telling you, very, very powerful, very, very powerful nature spirits, man. So they're the antennas for the earth. They're like the internet for the earth. The trees can transmute energy. They can talk back and forth, send messages from one side of the earth to the other side of the earth by way of the tree. Very powerful, very powerful. They can also pick up energy from the sun and the stars and transmute that energy down here from Mother Earth, so she can get messages. There are a lot of plants that actually attracted the stars. That's why some plants actually look like pentagrams. If you ever noticed that, some plants look like stars, like marijuana. Marijuana is a plant that actually is connected to the star energy. That's why when you smoke it, you become light. Your body transmutes into a higher vibration. Some people abuse marijuana, and that's why it could be bad, because you can abuse marijuana. But marijuana, when it's used naturally, it can actually lift the heaviness off you, that earth energy. It can lift that heavy energy off of you. And even though it's an earth element herb, it can actually have star energy in it. And when you smoke it, it can make you lighter. It can attract you to the fourth dimension if you know how to use it correctly. Same thing with hemp. Same thing with, CBD. These are things that remove a lot of weight, and they can allow you to be lighter and allow you to attract yourself more to the spirit world. Very powerful. Then you have psychedelic, that attracts more to primordial and cosmic energy. And when you take it, it takes you into your soul, right? So you got these psychedelic plants that can actually take you into your soul. That's actually what's happening when you take psychedelics. You're looking at your soul. And that's one way to go to the spirit world. You can go out into the spirit world, or you can go inside, which is the ancient shaman way. They would go into the inner verse and do their magic like that, right? So that's very important to understand. There are different aspects that trees can relate to different energies in the universe. All right, that's very important to understand. Certain trees can relate to certain energy in the universe. So if you want a tree to work with you, one of the best ways to get it to work with you is to take a quartz crystal, right? You can take a quartz crystal, a small quartz crystal. They have to be big. And you can put your thoughts and your ideas into this crystal by way of putting it on your forehead and putting a thought form, a positive thought form into the crystal. And, putting the crystal and letting the crystal know what you want, and tell the crystal to tell the tree. When you bury it at least 12 inches into the ground next to the tree, near the roots, then what can happen is the tree will actually absorb the energy from the crystal. And the tree can actually work with you on a deeper level that way, right? So the tree will know what you want every time you come to it, because you put a computer chip to a degree into the tree. And the tree understands and knows what you want. Or that's one way to do it, right? So you can let the tree take a quartz crystal and say, look, I'm going to be coming to you to do rituals. If it's not okay, contact me in my dream and tell me. If the tree contacts you in your dream and say, don't come over here with that shit, then don't mess with the tree, right? If the tree doesn't come to you, then that's a sign that go ahead and work with the tree, right? Some trees don't like us. That's just the truth, Some trees do. Some trees don't mind us. Some trees are demonic. They're evil. That's the facts. I'm not going to say which trees those are, because those trees right there, it's easy to take the bark. I can take a bark off a certain tree and hex anybody I want just by taking a bark off a certain tree. Certain trees carry very low vibratory energy, and they can be very dangerous, right? They can be very dangerous. A lot of demons like to hang around certain trees, right? And I know somebody out there like, man, BroYosef, tell us what tree it is. No, because I know some people like to do things to people, and I'm not going to put that type of energy out there. right? But yeah, there are some trees that carry heavy demonic energy, right? And you can curse people and hex people with certain trees. So that's one way to get a tree to work with you astrally. You can ask the tree by bearing a quartz crystal next to it, and it can come to you in your dreams and let you know. If it doesn't come to you, then go ahead and start burying stuff and work with the tree, right? But be respectful. Every time you approach a tree, be respectful. It's a living entity. It's older than you, right? Especially the big ones. They're older than you. Show respect. Don't just look at the tree as a tool where I'm going to do what I want to do. Even the American Indians, when they worked with the trees, they always prayed and gave it respect. It was a living entity. It was a living being, right? So when they carved canoes and boats and stuff, they gave respect to the tree. They prayed to the spirit of the tree and gave it honor and respect, showed it respect. Literally. So don't just go snatch branches off the tree because you want to make a wand. Show respect to the tree. Ask it if it's okay. The tree knows. And then that way, when you're walking down the street, a branch don't fall and crack your head open. Because he done told his homie down the street, yeah, this dude over here snatching my branches off. Next thing you know, a big branch just cracks you in the head. You don't know why a tree fell on you. Or maybe a tree fell on your house. You don't know why. Because you ain't respecting the trees, man. They ain't stupid. They're very wise. They know what's going on. Right? They're living entities. Right? Another way you can work with trees is if you have a lot of negativity on you, especially if you're depressed. You can actually bury your feet in the ground next to a tree. Right? You can become like the tree and bury your feet like roots into the ground and just stand next to the tree. Get you a little chair, right? Sit down in the chair. You might look crazy doing this, but you can sit down in the chair and put your feet in the dirt next to a tree and let that energy just come off of you. You actually don't have to bury your feet, but if you want to be more effective and work faster, you can bury your feet next to a tree. And you can actually have a lot of that negativity come right off you. It can ground you, right? Or you can simply just walk barefoot around a tree in a circle. If you walk around a tree clockwise in a circle, it can actually take a lot of negative energy off you. The tree knows what you're doing when you walk clockwise around a tree. It knows what you're doing. And you can actually pull a lot of negative energy off you when you walk around a tree, especially an oak tree, right? Especially an oak tree. So the bigger and taller the tree, the more power it has. That's a fact. So the bigger and taller a tree, the more life force it has, and the more energy it has, right? That also means the bigger the roots. And the roots are the most powerful part of the tree, dealing with magic, as far as magic goes. If you're looking for medicines, the bark, the wood will be powerful, the leaves, depending on what tree it is, or the fruit that comes from it. But if you're trying to do some serious magic, the roots of the tree is where the power is. All the power is stored in the roots of the tree, right? So it's very powerful, right? So the bigger the tree, the more powerful, right? And oak trees are probably the most powerful trees out there. These oaks, and there's different types of oaks. The big red oaks over in California gotta be the most powerful oaks on the planet. But oak trees are pretty much almost everywhere on the planet. And if you can get you a big oak tree and become friends with it, man, that's a powerful spiritual ally right there. Powerful spiritual ally, because a lot of negativity that hits you can actually hit the tree, and the tree can just take that energy and transform it for you, right? It can just take the energy and just transform the energy for you. So that's very important to understand, family. Oak trees are very powerful because they carry a lot of yang energy, meaning more male energy, right? They carry heavy male energy, and that's why they're very good for making magic wands. So if you want to make a magic wand, which is a penis, right? When you're in the bedroom, the vagina is the cauldron, and the magic wand is the penis. And if you're doing sex magic, you need to understand that. So when you're just casting a spell, which is another way to have sex with the universe, right? You're casting a spell. You can cast a spell between you and a female, or you and your partner, or you can cast a spell by using the energy in the universe by doing magic or science, right? And doing these rituals, because sex is a ritual also. So when you're doing these rituals, you got a magic wand in your hand, you can command things, right? There's orchestras that are controlled by a wand. That person up there controlling the orchestra is using a magic wand, and he's actually drawing shapes in the air. And the frequency of the band is just, the orchestra is playing to the wave of the magic wand, right? So magic wands are very powerful. They're very powerful, and oak trees are one of the. Of course, there's other woods you can use that are powerful also, but oak trees are probably one of the most powerful woods you can use to make a wand. I prefer that if you're going to make your first wand yourself, get it from an oak tree. Okay, every now and then you can find pieces of wood that's called out to you, and it might not be from an oak tree. But oak trees carry some of the most powerful energy for wands. All right, so I want you guys to really understand that. So if you have a issue where you need more power in your magic and you want a spell to work for you, so spells for like to increase your spiritual energy, spells to bring you health, more health, spells to connect you with certain nature spirits, you can bury those spells next to an oak tree, right? If you need to increase your own energy, you can empower yourself, which I want to talk about in a second, right? Burying a small spell next to an oak tree. I'm going to get into energy batteries in a second, or earth batteries in a second. So oak trees are powerful like that. They're the most powerful tree, in my opinion, right? It's when it comes to just raw power, right? So if you bury something next to an oak tree, elm trees are powerful too, right? Elm trees are powerful too, but if you bury something next to an oak tree and the roots at least 12 inches deep, you got some powerful energy going on right there. You know, you can take your crystals and bury them next to trees too. That's powerful too. So another tree I want you guys to understand that's important too is the birch tree, right? Birchwood, silver birchwood trees. The birch tree is very protective in nature. It's a very protective tree. And it connects to the energy of silver. So it's very powerful from that perspective. You know, silver destroys parasites. Silver can fight demonic energies in some ways. It's extremely powerful, connecting to the spiritual world. And usually these silver birches were planted in areas, or you can plant one yourself in areas that if you want to keep away negative energy, because as they grow, their aura expands like very far, and they're very powerful. Their energy, the energy of the tree. So birchwood is used to block demons, right? It's used to block negative spirits, negative elementals. I'm gonna do a video one day about negative elementals because people don't really understand what I mean by that. But if you got this random stuff happening in your yard, a dog keep coming to pit, you got a random dog that runs in your yard for no reason, right? And it scares you. Or the dog keep coming and peeing in your yard, or a tree falls over and hits your power lines, or you know, you got a water leak in the back of your yard, just random stuff happening in your yard. That's usually a negative elemental causing that, right? And there's ways to get rid of that. And a birch tree is one of the great ways to keep away those negative energies, right? So you can actually take certain birch wood, right? You can cut it into small pieces, the birch wood, and you can put it inside one of your mojo bags or your medicine bags for protection. So now y'all know another thing that I keep in my medicine bag for protection. So a birch wood can do that, a birch wood tree. Very protective. You guys should definitely use the energy of that, study it. It can be used to block a lot of negative energy. These negative spirits don't like birchwood at all. They stay away from it. So use that to clear evil spirits, negative spirits. It's very powerful if you want to keep negativity away. The birchwood tree, okay? The birch tree. Another tree that's important that I want you guys to understand is the pine tree, right? Pine trees and even the pine oil, which is very powerful too, can purify energy, right? So if you need to be anointed, you need something purified in your home. You want to purify your home, purify the area that you're in. You can actually take pine wood, but I recommend you take some pine oil and write positive words on the front of your door, like right on the frame of your door. Write words with pine. Write love, happiness, prosperity lives here. Protection lives here. These things are very powerful with pine trees. They purify, right? They bring prosperity. That's another thing that pine tree does. So if you have a money ritual you're trying to do, you want it to work really good, bury that money ritual next to a pine tree. The pine tree will, first of all, ask the pine tree if it's fine. And I told you guys how to do that. And if it's fine, come back another day or two and bury that next to the tree. And the pine tree will work that money ritual for you over and over and over for the rest of your life. Some trees can bring you life. Literally, it can help you live long and protect you. Some people take the placenta of the baby and bury it near oak trees. and stuff like that, buried in the ground. It's very powerful, right? These trees are very powerful. Some people, grandparents is buried under trees and next to trees, right? That's very powerful, family. That's very powerful. So the pine also raises the frequency, right? Pine raises the frequency. So that's something to understand too. So get y'all some pine to raise the frequency, right? And keep your home purified and to bring prosperity to yourself, okay? So also, let's talk about earth batteries, right? So earth batteries are very powerful. I don't know why this camera always does this, but I'm gonna get this out. Earth batteries are very powerful. So what you guys want to do is you want to get you guys a silk pouch. Go ahead and get yourself a silk pouch. Get a silk pouch and put your fingernails, some of your hair, some of your saliva, and some of your blood. You can put the blood right on the hair, right? And you want to put it in a silk pouch. Not a cotton pouch. I know some people, yeah, can I use this pouch? No, a silk pouch, family. Get a silk pouch and take that silk pouch and bury it under an oak tree, 12 inches deep under an oak tree, okay? And leave it. And it will add a level of protection to you. It will add more life force to you. But on a spiritual level, it will feed your astral body. And it will also give you a level of energy when after you pass away. If you're looking for energy, you can go back to this tree and you will naturally know where it's at. You can go back to this tree